The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, by John Mark Comer. Introduction. Imagine a man at the absolute peak of his career. He's a pastor, but not just any pastor. He leads a megachurch, a sprawling organization growing by over 1,000 people every single year. He's successful by every metric the world values: influence, numbers, recognition. He's the kind of person you'd look at and think, he has it all figured out. But if you could see him late on a Sunday night, after the crowds have gone home, the picture would look very different. You'd find him on his couch, long after his family has gone to bed, watching an obscure kung fu movie with the subtitles on. He's never been into kung fu. In fact, it makes him nervous. He feels like a ghost. Half alive, half dead. Underneath the surface of his successful life, there's a constant, low-grade anxiety and a spiritual emptiness that feels like his soul has been hollowed out. His life is so fast, so hurried, that he's missing the very moments that make up a life. And in the quiet of his living room, a terrifying question begins to haunt him, a question that won't go away: who am I becoming? He projects his life forward 10, 20, 30 years, and the vision is horrifying. He sees a man who is a success in the eyes of the world, but a failure as a human being. A man who is emotionally unhealthy and spiritually shallow. A man whose kids want nothing to do with the faith he preaches, because the church was the mistress he ran to hide from the pain in his own soul. A man who is, above all else, always in a hurry. He realizes, with freight train force, that you can build a massive church and completely lose your own soul in the process. And he asks himself the question that changes everything: why am I in such a rush to become somebody I don't even like? This man is John Mark Comer, and his journey from the brink of burnout to a life of deep, soulful rest is the heart of his transformative book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. It's a book that has become a quiet phenomenon, a remedy for our overworked and tired souls, because it speaks to a problem we all feel but can rarely name. By the end of our time together today, you will understand the single greatest enemy to your emotional health and spiritual life in our modern world. It's not what you think. And you will hold in your hands a simple, ancient, and beautiful map to a slower, richer, and more meaningful way of being human. A way to find rest for your soul. Book summary. So, what is this great enemy? If you were to guess, what would you say is the biggest obstacle to a deep, peaceful, and meaningful life in the 21st century? You might point to the internet, or politics, or moral decline. But a wise mentor of John Mark Comer, a philosopher named Dallas Willard, once gave a much simpler, more profound answer. When asked what was needed to become the person he was meant to be, Willard replied after a long, thoughtful silence, "You must ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life." When pressed for more advice, Willard simply said, "There is nothing else." Hurry is the great enemy of spiritual life in our day. That single idea is the foundation of this entire book. Hurry, that state of frantic effort and excessive haste, is the root problem beneath so many of our modern struggles. Think about the most essential qualities of a beautiful life. Think about love, joy, and peace. These three are the heart of the life Jesus offers. But as Comer points out, all three are fundamentally incompatible with hurry. Love is patient. It takes time. All of Comer's worst moments, as a father, a husband, a person, are when he's in a hurry. When you're rushing your family out the door, trying to get to the next thing, the feeling you're radiating isn't love, it's agitation, anger, and tension. Hurry and love, he says, are like oil and water. They simply do not mix. The same is true for joy. The secret to happiness, as spiritual masters and secular psychologists agree, is presence to the moment. But when you're in a hurry, you're never fully present. You're always living in the next moment, the next task, the next appointment. And peace? Can you feel a deep sense of calm and well-being when you're running behind, your mind racing, your chest tight with anxiety? Of course not. The theologian Kosuke Koyama beautifully wrote that God walks slowly because he is love. He calls this the 3-mile-an-hour God. In our culture, slow is a bad word. It means stupid or inefficient. But in the economy of the soul, slow is the speed of love, the speed of joy, the speed of peace. So how did we get here? How did our world get so fast that hurry became our default state of being? It didn't happen overnight. For most of human history, time was natural, tied to the sun and the seasons. Life had a rhythm. But then, technology began to change our relationship with time. Around 200 BC, the Romans started using sundials, and people immediately began complaining about their days being cut and hacked into small portions. The big turning point came in the 1300s, with the invention of the mechanical clock. Suddenly, time was no longer natural, it was artificial. We stopped rising with the sun and started rising to the drone of an alarm. We became more efficient, yes, but as one historian put it, we placed ourselves under the dominion of a machine with its own imperious demands. Then came the light bulb in 1879. Before Thomas Edison, the average person slept 11 hours a night. 11. Today, we're down to around 7, and we wonder why we're always exhausted. But the greatest acceleration of all happened in our lifetime. In 2007, Steve Jobs released the iPhone into the world. In a few short years, the Internet, which was already changing our brains, was suddenly in our pockets. A recent study found that the average iPhone user touches their phone 2,617 times a day. Let that sink in. We are constantly being pulled out of the present moment by a stream of notifications, emails, and updates. Our attention spans have plummeted. In the year 2000, it was 12 seconds. Now, it's 8 seconds. To put that in perspective, a goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds. We are losing to goldfish. And this isn't an accident. Tech insiders, like the former president of Facebook, Sean Parker, have admitted that these apps were intentionally designed to exploit a vulnerability in human psychology. They are engineered to give us a little dopamine hit every once in a while to keep us hooked, consuming as much of our time and conscious attention as possible. They call this the attention economy. Your attention is the product being sold to advertisers. The result of all this is what one writer called pathological busyness. We live in a state of constant, low-grade distraction, and it's creating a culture-wide epidemic that psychologists are now calling hurry sickness. Hurry sickness is a behavior pattern where a person feels chronically short of time, leading to constant rushing and anxiousness. Comer offers a simple self-inventory. See if any of these sound familiar. Irritability. You get annoyed way too easily by small, normal things. Restlessness. When you do try to slow down and rest, you can't. Your mind and body are so hyped up on the drug of speed that you can't relax. Emotional numbness. You just don't have the capacity to feel another person's pain, or even your own. You live in a kind of constant fog. Escapist behaviors. When you're too tired to do what's actually life-giving, you turn to your distraction of choice, binge-watching Netflix, scrolling social media, overeating, or overdrinking. Slippage of spiritual disciplines. The things that would actually feed your soul, like quiet time, prayer, or Sabbath, are the first things to go when you get busy. If you recognize yourself in these symptoms, you are not alone. This isn't just a personal failing, it's the air we breathe. But here's the crucial insight: hurry isn't just a disordered schedule. John Ortberg says it perfectly: hurry is a disordered heart. It's a sign that we're running away from something, our pain, our insecurity, our fear, or we're running toward something, success, approval, the next purchase, in a vain attempt to find the peace and worth that can only be found in a different way entirely. So, if hurry is the problem, what's the solution? It's tempting to think the answer is just more time. If only there were a few more hours in the day, right? But Comer argues this is a flawed logic. If we had more time, we would just fill it with more things, and we'd end up even more tired and burned out than before. The solution isn't more time. It's to slow down and simplify our lives around what truly matters. And to do that, we must first accept a fundamental truth about our humanity: we have limitations. We live in a culture that tells us to transgress all limits, to do it all, see it all, have it all. But we are not God. We are made from dust. We are finite. We can only be in one place at a time. We can't know everything, do everything, or be everything. And these limitations, Comer suggests, are not a curse to be fought but a gift to be accepted. They are signposts that point us to God's will for our lives. The main limitation we all share is time. Every yes is 1,000 no's. This means we have to learn to live deliberately, to choose what matters most and let go of the rest. This brings us to the heart of Comer's message, what Dallas Willard called the secret of the easy yoke. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus gives one of his most beautiful invitations: "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." A yoke, in the first century, was a common metaphor for a rabbi's teachings, his way of life. Jesus wasn't offering an escape from the burdens of life, he was offering a new way to carry them. He was offering a different lifestyle. And here is the secret, hidden in plain sight: if you want to experience the life of Jesus, you have to adopt the lifestyle of Jesus. It seems so obvious, yet it's something we so often miss. We want Jesus' peace, his joy, his unanxious presence, but we try to get it while living the rest of our lives just like everyone else around us, at a frantic, hurried pace. It's a strategy that is bound to fail. Comer uses a wonderful analogy. He sees his neighbors across the street, who are all avid runners, looking fit and full of energy in their expensive athletic wear. He thinks, "I want that life." But then he thinks about the lifestyle behind it: the early mornings, the strict diet, the grueling workouts. He wants the result, but he's not willing to adopt the lifestyle. Many of us approach Jesus the same way. We want the life he offers, but we're unwilling to adopt his lifestyle, a lifestyle marked by unhurried rhythms of work, rest, prayer, and community. This is where the idea of a rule of life comes in. This isn't a set of rigid, legalistic rules. The word rule comes from the Latin regula, which means a trellis, the structure that holds up a vine so it can grow and bear fruit. A rule of life is simply a structure, a set of habits and practices, that we intentionally build into our days to create space for our souls to breathe and connect with God. So, what are the practices that form this trellis? Comer focuses on 4 ancient practices from the way of Jesus, reimagined for our hypermodern world. The first, and perhaps most important, is silence and solitude. Our world is drowning in noise. The constant chatter of news, social media, and entertainment makes us deaf to the voice of God. All those little moments of boredom we used to have, waiting in line, sitting in traffic, were once potential portals to prayer. Now, they are instantly filled by our phones. Jesus, by contrast, regularly withdrew to the eremos, the quiet place, the wilderness. It wasn't a place of weakness, but a place of spiritual strength. It was after 40 days in the desert that he had the capacity to face down temptation. The busier he became, the more he withdrew to lonely places to pray. Silence has 2 dimensions. There is external silence, no noise, no music, no podcasts. And there is internal silence, the quieting of the mental chatter that never seems to shut up. Solitude is not isolation, it is engagement with God and your own soul. It's where you find inner fulfillment, not inner emptiness. This practice is simple. Start your day with a quiet time, before the noise of the world rushes in. Find 10 minutes to just sit. To breathe. To be present to God and to yourself. The second practice is Sabbath. The engine of our hurry is often a deep, internal restlessness. We live with a feeling that something is missing, an itch that can never be scratched. The theologian St. Augustine famously wrote, "You have made us for yourself, and our heart is restless until it rests in you." Our infinite desires can only be satisfied by an infinite God. Our consumer culture tries to monetize this restlessness. It promises that the next purchase, the next experience, will finally satisfy us. But it never does. The Sabbath is the ancient antidote to this cancerous restlessness. The Hebrew word, Shabbat, literally means to stop. It is a day, one day in 7, to stop working, stop wanting, stop worrying, and simply delight. The Sabbath is built into the DNA of creation. On the 7th day, God rested. When we ignore this rhythm, Comer says, we go against the grain of the universe and we get splinters. But Sabbath is more than just a day off. A day off is often spent running errands and catching up on chores. A Sabbath is a day for two things only: rest and worship. It's also an act of resistance. In a world that tells you that you are what you produce and what you consume, the Sabbath is a joyful rebellion. It's a way of saying, I am more than my work. I have enough. My life is a gift, and today I will celebrate it. The third practice is simplicity. This is the antidote to the materialism that fuels our hurry. The drive to possess is an engine for hurry. Every single thing you buy costs you not only money, but also time, time to earn it, time to maintain it, time to manage it. Jesus' teachings on money are often jarring to our modern ears. Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions, he said. He warned against the deceitfulness of wealth. And modern science is proving him right. A famous Princeton study found that while money does increase happiness for those in poverty, that effect plateaus at around $75,000 a year. After that, more money does not bring more emotional well-being. Simplicity, or minimalism, isn't about living in poverty. It's about the intentional promotion of the things we most value, and the removal of everything that distracts us from them. It's about asking, before you buy something, what is the true cost of this item? Not just in money, but in time, freedom, and peace. It's about learning to enjoy things without needing to own them. It's about leading a cheerful, happy revolt against the lie that more stuff equals more happiness. The final practice is slowing. This is the most practical of the four. It's about turning everyday activities into exercises in patience and presence. Comer calls it gamification, turning the fight against hurry into a series of fun, simple games. The ideas are countercultural and wonderfully simple. Drive the speed limit. Get into the slow lane on the freeway. When you're at the grocery store, intentionally get in the longest line. Use those few extra minutes to breathe and pray instead of letting your soul be agitated. Turn your smartphone into a dumb phone by deleting social media, email, and news apps. Practice single tasking. Do one thing at a time, and give it your full attention. As one writer put it, multitasking is just a way to do many things poorly. Walk slower. These small acts of rebellion against speed have a cumulative effect. By slowing down your body, you begin to slow down your soul, creating space for God to meet you in the present moment. This journey isn't about perfection, It's about practice. It's about 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. It's about beginning again, every time you fall back into hurry. Comer offers a simple mantra for these moments. Slow down. Breathe. Come back to the moment. Because the moment, this present now, is where you find God, where you find your soul, where you find your life. Commentary. Reading The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry is like taking a long, deep breath after you didn't even realize you were holding your breath. The most powerful lesson for me is the reframing of the entire problem. Most of us see our busyness and stress as a time management issue. We think if we just find the right app, the right planner, the right productivity hack, we can finally get on top of it all. But John Mark Comer gently and wisely shows us that this is a soul issue. Hurry isn't a disordered schedule, it's a disordered heart. It flows from a deep restlessness and a misguided belief that our worth comes from what we do and what we have. Until we address the problem at that level, all the productivity hacks in the world are just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. This isn't a call to drop out of society and become a monk. It's a call to live differently within our modern world. It's an invitation to find a rhythm of life that is both sustainable and deeply joyful. It's about creating a trellis of life-giving habits that allow our souls to grow, even in the chaotic soil of the 21st century. The beauty of Comer's approach is that it feels so achievable. It's not about a massive, overnight transformation, but about small, intentional choices that, over time, lead to a profound shift in the way we experience our lives. So how can you begin this journey today? Here are 3 simple, practical actions you can take right now. First, practice the 10-minute quiet. Sometime in the next 24 hours, find just 10 minutes. Set a timer. Put your phone in another room. And just sit in silence. Don't try to pray or accomplish anything. Just be. Notice the noise in your mind. Notice the urge to grab your phone. Just sit with it. This small act is the first step in reclaiming your attention. Second, ask the true cost question. The next time you feel the urge to buy something you don't absolutely need, pause and ask yourself, what is the true cost of this item? Think about the hours of your life you'll have to trade to pay for it. Think about the mental space it will occupy. Is it truly worth your peace? Third, pick one slowing game. For the next week, choose one of the simple slowing practices. Maybe you'll drive the speed limit everywhere you go. Maybe you'll walk a little slower. Or maybe you'll try single tasking for one block of your day. Just pick one and see how it feels to intentionally push back against the current of hurry. In the end, this book is an invitation. It's an invitation to a different kind of ambition. The Apostle Paul once wrote, "Make it your ambition to lead a quiet life." What a strange and beautiful idea. To aim our energy not at being loud, or important, or impactful, but simply at being quiet. At peace. Present to God and to the goodness of each day. This is the path of the easy yoke. It's a path away from the exhaustion of hurry and toward the deep, life-giving rest your soul was made for. That was a summary of The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. We've explored the core ideas today, but I have to be honest with you, a summary is like looking at a postcard of the Grand Canyon. It gives you an idea of the beauty, but it's nothing compared to the experience of standing on the edge yourself. The real power of this book is in the way Comer's stories and gentle wisdom work on you as you read. This summary is designed to help you decide if this is a journey you want to take. If you felt a stirring in your soul, a recognition of your own hurry, then I wholeheartedly encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning new information, it's an experience that can genuinely help you recover your soul. You can find a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable and want to continue exploring life-changing books, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us create more content like this, and it ensures you won't miss our next journey into another essential book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep growing together.